Hey guys, this is Stephanie Richardson. So, about 11 years ago, I discovered something that was really disturbing to me, and that was that most of the ways that we do aid, or the most of the ways that we contribute to other people in other countries, actually doesn't create a sustainable future for those countries. Instead, it creates reliance on aid. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I was reading, and whatever that's worth. What I was reading was all about how in certain areas, whenever we take in food aid, that it's actually destabilized their markets for food that was locally produced. And when that happens, it basically it creates such a devaluing of grown food that the farmers can't sustain themselves. Or, for instance, whenever Haiti had the big tsunami, I think, was it a tsunami? Was it a hurricane? They had the big natural disaster that a lot of health organizations and aid organizations really desired to help the people of Haiti. But one of the things that happened is that it actually destabilized the local hospital system. Now, I haven't read up on that since, but the gist of this whole thing is how many times we desire to do something that's helpful and great, and how many times that actually in the long run has created more reliance and more need. And that didn't work for me. That's the thing, is that I had been creating my life wanting to help people and wanting to help. That's all I can say. Wanting to help, wanting the world to be greater, wanting there to be peace, and wanting there to be food for everyone, and wanting all of that. And so to find this bit of information, like how many times helping actually hurts, I didn't really know where to go from there. It took my understanding of the world, and just like some of these places, it destabilized the very structure on which I had based my life. That if you give to others, then you'll create the life that you'd like to have, and you'll create a world that's worth living on. What I found is when you give, you don't always create a world that's worth having or living in, especially if the people didn't ask for it. So what is this video actually about? Well, for me, there was basically a 6-year hiatus of I don't know what to do now. I guess I'll just live my own life, and be aware of when I can contribute and what I can change. But it was really confusing for a long time, until I'd say somewhere around now, maybe about 5 years ago, but more and more. And what I'm discovering is that when we change, and when we create more of what we would like to have in our own lives, we do create more of that on the planet. So the more that we take judgment out of our own lives, the more that we take judgment out of the planet. The more that we take the need for, or greed, the more we take greed out of our own lives and actually start practicing gratitude in whatever way we can practice gratitude, then we actually add more gratitude to the planet, and we take greed away from the planet. And that all of these ways that I ever wanted for the world to change, or for other people to change, or for other choices to be available, what I didn't really realize is that I actually had to make them available in my own life first. And I guess other people have somehow successfully created that in other ways. And if you can do that, mwah. And if you haven't been able to figure that out, then maybe this is for you. So what I've discovered is that, like I said, as we create more of something in our own life, there is more of that on the planet. And you actually open the door for other people to be able to see it, and be able to create it, and be able to have it. So before somebody ran the 4-minute mile, the 4-minute mile was an impossibility. Then someone ran a 4-minute mile, and then it became possible. And then it's been beaten over and over and over and over and over again. What if we, the people who have that itchiness and scratchiness, the desire to create more, desire to have a purpose, that desire to move things forward, to have things change, to have a sustainable planet, all of those desires that we have that feel like they're ping-ponging around in our bodies and in our lives, what if we are on the forefront of creating a sustainable, thriving planet through creating that in our own lives and opening the door for others to be able to choose it? And maybe that's uncomfortably simple. Maybe that seems like it's too selfish. Maybe it seems like that's an impossible task, one person at a time. But what I'm discovering in my own life is that each step that I make and each choice that, actually not step, each choice that I make that creates more of that in my own life, other people around me also seem to be able to have more space to create for themselves, that a possibility opens up. Have you ever seen somebody do something and then you go, oh, I didn't even know I could choose that? And then that choice is then available for you? What if that's what we're on the forefront of, is opening the door for more choices? And what if it's as easy as actually creating new choices for ourselves? So really beginning to ask questions like, if I could choose anything, and if I could have anything, if I could be, maybe most importantly, if I could be anything, what would I choose? If nothing was impossible, what would I choose to be? And what's required for me to be that? Would I be willing to choose it? Would I be willing to let go of anything that doesn't allow for it? If I want to be a person who opens the door to creating a sustainable living future for the planet, what would I have to be? What would I have to choose? And when that door is open, if any one person opens that door, what if the whole world can rush through anytime that they choose it? And what if having allowance of people with whatever they choose, whether they choose to walk through that door, whether they choose to see that there's a door there or not, or whether they choose to stay staunchly on one side or rush through it with joy, what if us having allowance of whatever people choose, what if that too is the beginning of a new reality? So just for today, ask yourself, what if nothing was impossible? What would I choose to be? What would I choose to create? And maybe even just throw in there, what would be fun for me? Love you guys. See you tomorrow.